You're welcome back to today's broadcast. Here we'll give you everything happening around the world, Biafra, Nigeria, and the things that is going on around the world. In fact, in today's video, it is about the Washington, it's about the US, and it is all about the fights concerning Nigerian division. The game is changing every day. It is changing every blessed day. No day you come up, no day you wake up, you will not see one news or the other concerning this issue of Nigerian contraption, division, and the rest of them. So now the ball has now kicked again, where they are now discussing the issue of Biafra in US Congress and also in Washington DC. So according to the headline, it says Biafran independent discourse in Washington by the US Congress about the division of Nigeria and how to let the Biafran people to go. So in this video, you are going to see everything by yourself and you're going to watch it. It is not about rumor. It is not where is the evidence or where is the news. You know, the reason why the mainstream media, Nigerian media, will not be giving you all this type of news. Sometimes people may be asking, why are they not giving you this type of news every day? Once you enter into internet, YouTube, Facebook, and other internet, you'll be hearing and you'll be seeing live news concerning what is going on and concerning how the world has been debating on issue about Nigeria. Well, Nigeria, they will not give you the news because of it is a black market to them. Anybody that discuss about how the country will be okay, how people will live better life. So the government of Nigeria, they don't used to like it. And they used to be against such kind of a person. And Nigerian mainstream media will never give you the authentic news, what is really going on in Nigeria and around the world. Even though the little one that used to give, they used to coil it in lies and into other different things. That is why we say to you here, you need to stay by, watch and share it. And make sure you share it because this is not easy for our work, so that it is a sign to appreciate our work we are doing for you. So as about to watch, like, subscribe and share it for everyone to see things going on in Biafra land.
So like play, Biafrans want to leave this country called Nigeria. The Nigerian media will never allow you people to see this video. In fact, even Bola Ahmed Tinubu will never like this video. Take a look at the bold step that the Biafran agitators have actually taken and now assistance. In fact, they have moved down to US to seek for exit. In fact, to go away from Nigeria. This will not be seen at the one where they already talked before. Just listen first.
IPOB official met US lawmaker Ted Cruz to discuss Biafra independence. Ted Cruz, a United States senator, was among officials the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB once met to advance the separatist.
Just hold it here first. Let me just explain something before you, in fact, to avoid you misunderstanding this video. Una know say now currently Ngozi Orabeze, which is the acting prime minister, the person that is actually representing Simon Ekpa, you understand, which is Dr. Ngozi Orabeze. She has started running politics at the US. Now as it stands, she's contesting, vying for a political position of a Senate, whereby we are still expecting and also wishing her to win. So first of all, some group of people again that is actually backing her up have moved directly to US to seek for self-recognition. In fact, for US to recognize them officially as a country. And I know say there's one man that earlier made it clear to us here on the social media that the reason why we don't want the Biafrans to go, and that is the reason why even when Ojukwu fought during the Biafran war, the reason why we would not allow these Biafran people to leave Nigeria is because it is at the southeast part of Nigeria that a huge crude oil, in fact anything called mineral resources, dwells. So that is why they don't want the Igbos to go. They have finally used their mouth to say it out. But before I continue, just listen to what the man said. Then I also played another video for you.
I decided that we should not, I should not allow Nigeria to break away. We will not allow any part to secede. Now, of course, Ojukwu wanted, if he succeeded, yes, with the oil, the major oil is in his own part of the country, and at that time is in the eastern part of the country. Yes, in fact, he would be independent, he would be financially robust, and then who knows, he might probably go even beyond that to start reconquering the rest of the country so that he can be the president of the country. So
sure, you don't hear them now, Abi. So this is what have been scaring them away for not to allow Biafrans to go. But first of all, listen to the news here in details from Aisha Yusuf. You understand? She's gonna be explaining everything here in detail. Do not forget to share for other people to watch and see what's actually going on now. Just watch.
IPOB official met U.S. lawmaker Ted Cruz to discuss Biafra independence. Ted Cruz, a United States senator, was among officials the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB once met to advance the separatist agenda. IPOB is seeking the accession of a Biafra nation from southeast Nigeria. In 2027, the Nigerian government prescribed IPOB and labeled the group a militant terrorist organization after the Eastern Security Network, ESN, its armed wing, was accused of killings and violence. In 2024, Simon Ekman, the self-acclaimed Biafran leader, so in 2024, Simon Ekpa, a self-acclaimed, just hold on a minute, I'm just having a bit of network issue here, okay? A self-acclaimed disciple of Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB leader, said Ogechukwu Nkere, Biafra finance minister, met with Cruz. Ekpa is currently serving a 6-year prison term in Finland for inciting, I don't know what's wrong with the thing, it's just jumping as I'm reading it. Ekpa is currently serving a 6-year prison term in Finland for inciting terrorism and participating in the activities of a terrorist group. Minister Nkere briefed Senator on Biafra's progress towards independence, including activities such as self-referendum, as well as the Nigerian government's persecution of Biafrans and ties to Islamic terrorist groups, Ekpa said in an expose alongside a photo of Nkere and Cruz. At the end of the meeting, Biafra Nkere handed the senator the Biafra Charter and Biafra pin. Cruz has been lobbying for sanctions and military action in Nigeria over claims of an ongoing persecution of Christians in the country. So, like Kepo is saying, this happened last year, but I think they're bringing it up now. You know, there's been a lot of conversation around the fact that, oh, it's IPOB that is making this whole this designation that Nigeria got from the US as a country of particular concern, that it's IPOB that is leading it. Some have said it's Southeast and all. Probably that's the reason why they are bringing this, you know, up again. They're bringing this particular, because this meeting happened last year. I didn't know about it. I'm sure there's some other people also who also didn't know about it. Last month, he proposed a bill that seeks to protect, you know, prosecuted Christians in Nigeria and hold Nigerian government officials accountable for facilitating the mass murder. In a separate investigation, the cable found the hashtag Biafra Exit Now featuring prominently in the online discourse around the Christian genocide claims. Analysis of data sets also showed that keywords supportive of Biafra and Kanu appeared frequently in auto bios. The Cable also found that much of the data cited by U.S. lawmakers and other genocide claimants came from the International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law Inter-Society, a pro-Christian civil rights group known for promoting sectional interest. Cable check. The Cable's fact-checking arm found the figures quoted in the report to be false, according to Cable. Emeka Umegbelasi, Inter-Society's founder, also repeatedly voiced support for Biafra and Kanu. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to go into Nigeria guns ablazing, you know, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorist talks attacking our cherished Christian. So what I read from this particular piece, it's like a jumbling of so many things, and I think what they're trying to say is, it's like I said earlier, to still link this whole thing to IPOB Southeast, you know, and all of that. But just to say, for us, even as Nigerians, these are some of the conversations that we are supposed to really sit down, you know, and start having, to say, you know what, Nigeria has been, I think Nigeria is about 111 years now since the amalgamation of the Northern and the Southern Protectorate. And in terms of, I think it's about 65 years now of independence. We got our independence, and then it became a republic, I believe, in 1963. And so that will be it's about 62 years now that it became, you know, a republic. At the end of the day, Nigeria is still so much divided, even divided that it used to be. Unfortunately for us, we find people who have been unscrupulous people who have been in politics and have used this divide to continue to divide the people because it helps them. I don't think Nigeria has been as much divided as it is now. There has been a lot of call for sectional leadership, for separation and all of that. But I think it's very important that the fact that the Northern and the Southern Protectorate were put together against the will of the people by the colonialists after 100+ years, it's only fair that, you know, citizens sit down and have a conversation. Do they really want to stay together, or do they want to separate? Do they want to continue this relationship? And whatever it is, let there be an amicable, you know, amicable separation if there is, or amicable living together. Lives need to be protected in Nigeria. Good governance is sacrosanct. You understand? We need to have a place where we're able to live amicably. And if any of that is not forthcoming, then there should be a means of separating amicably. No one Nigerian life should be sacrificed, you know, in terms of keeping that union together. And sometimes when they talk about conversation, there are actually people who are afraid of the conversation that needs to be had. Having a conversation doesn't mean that, oh, you're going to separate. You're going to see that you're better off being together than you are, you know, separated. Because in every different part of Nigeria, we bring it, every region of Nigeria basing is amazing thing. And I always say there's no region, any region in Nigeria that cannot survive on its own. So coming together and having a discussion will let us understand that, look, indeed, we need each other in one way or the other. And then when you do that, you know it's your own doing, that you sat down, you had a conversation, and you decided to be together. Unlike the one that is like, oh, over 111 years ago, some people decided that they were, instead of managing these two things together, since they are near, let's collapse them as one and make them one. And hey, they became one. And that's where we are with this very populous, you know, nation of ours that we have. And Nigeria happens to be the most populous country in Africa, and it is also the most populous black nation in the world. And so that's it. So people coming together to talk doesn't mean that, oh, it's a bad thing, never let it happen. It can actually be an opportunity for us to either renew our contract or say to each other, it's been good doing business with each other.
Arise International, which today runs schools for more than 600 displaced children in the camps that the Nigerian government says doesn't exist. He's a former mayor of Blanco, Texas. And he is the author of Epicenter, Nigeria, Radical Islam and the War for Global Order, a #1 bestseller. Mike. Hello, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everything I'm about to say is factual, so I have 19 pages of references. If anybody wants to question anything I say, it's right here, because some of it might be shocking. Nigeria, the 6th largest nation on earth, on track to be the 3rd largest by 2050. Top 5 OPEC, $1 trillion in minerals, a cultural powerhouse. Nigerians are among the most educated and wealthy in the United States, and they do it with integrity, sharing the values that made America great. Last year, General Michael Langley, AFRICOM, declared the region anchored by northern Nigeria as the epicenter of global terror. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, others call it home. Their stated ambition, full Sharia across Nigeria, and then a global jihad launch pad. The recent Old Dominion shooter was radicalized in Nigeria. 2 scenarios. America's greatest African ally, innovative, peaceful, and prosperous, or the greatest security threat of the next generation, a Sharia exporting giant. A little bit of history. In 1804, Usman Dan Fodio waged a jihad and founded the Sokoto Caliphate, Africa's largest pre-colonial empire. Beheading, raping, destruction, displacement, 2 million slaves at its peak. This caliphate has never ended. That's North Nigeria. The British found 2 worlds, brutal Sharia North and vibrant, friendly South. They kept the caliphate intact as enforcers, indirect rule they called it, then merged the two in 1914. The South declared independence in 1967, Biafra. The civil war that followed, the British backed the North, which blockaded the South, shot down Red Cross planes. Up to 3 million, mostly children, starved to death. The South fell in 1970. Since then, power has stayed in the North by design, the Caliphate. The current constitution, imposed by Northern military dictator, mentions Sharia in Islamic terms 165 times. Christianity, 0. At least $9 billion a year in blood minerals are looted mainly by China, paying jihadis and corrupting military and political officials. There was President Goodluck Jonathan in his living room that leaned in and informed me about that. I know a lot of people there. I've been there a lot. Most of this is firsthand. Some key people that have been involved in this. Barack Obama unleashed the current genocide. In 2010, my first trip, Nigeria had an accidental Christian president, Goodluck Jonathan. Booming economy, only nation on earth where radical Islam was being pushed back. No slaughter, hardly any displaced people, just from random stuff. A northern warlord challenged Muhammadu Buhari, publicly called for Sharia law across Nigeria and globally. Boko Haram chose him to mediate with the government. Tinubu helped get him in office, the current president. David Axelrod was his campaign advisor. Obama blocked U.S. counterterrorism support to Jonathan, blocked other nations from helping. Jihadists flooded in from North Africa, villages massacred, millions displaced, raped, enslaved, kidnapped, churches burned. Buhari ran on ending the insecurity. It only got worse. Another person, the Sultan of Sokoto. He's like Pope and King to 108 million Muslims. Dan Fodio's 20th generation successor. He was a Nigerian general deployed to Pakistan and Afghanistan during the War on Terror, when we captured Nigerian fighters alongside Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. He returned and assumed the throne in 2006, and international terror tactics and organizations appeared soon after. He has never decreed an end to the killing or mineral looting in his domain, but he's called social media a terror organization. In 2025, he publicly supported the push for Sharia in traditionally Christian southern states. President Bola Tinubu, if that's his real name. In 1993, he forfeited $460,000 to a federal court in Chicago and fled the United States. That was proceeds from a heroin trafficking ring, which, by the way, heroin funds 37% of jihad around the world. He has appointed a man to rewrite the national curriculum whose defining credential is the book, The Islamization of Knowledge, which explicitly calls for intellectual jihad to oust Western education from nursery schools up to universities. This is academic Boko Haram by definition. And this is the guy that Tinubu put in charge of the curriculum of 50 million African Nigerian children. His new defense chief called the terrorists prodigal sons who deserve rehabilitation. That's the defense chief. NSA Nuhu Rabadu personally called me on October 5th to be Nigeria's Jane Fonda. It is documented he armed Miyeti Allah, the Fulani militia chaired by the Sultan and named in HR 7457 for potential FEO organization. He has publicly called the terrorists brothers. Mossad Bulus, Trump's senior advisor for Africa and the Middle East, holds multiple citizenships, including Nigerian, lived in Lagos for decades. He parrots verbatim talking points of terror-linked northern imams. He is CEO of his family company, which currently profits from multi-billion-dollar no-bid contracts issued by the Tinubu administration, issued to his business partner. He sells the heavy equipment to build the no-bid $13 billion in projects. This is Trump's senior advisor. He's also Tiffany Trump's father-in-law. Examples of ongoing failures and impunity. Ngoshe, Borno State, wiped out in the Gwoza massacre of 2014. The government recently assured refugees in Cameroon it was safe for them to return, paid them to return. Within weeks, on March 3rd, Boko Haram slaughtered dozens, more than 300 abducted into slavery, including the wife and daughter of a friend of mine. The military was largely AWOL. The attacks continue there. Deborah Samuel Yakubu, 2022, college student. After finals, she posted on WhatsApp, "Jesus is the greatest. He helped me pass my exams." The next day on campus, as professors and police watched, she was beaten, stoned, tires heaped on her, and burned alive, while students filmed selfies in front of the flames celebrating. The deputy imam of the National Mosque, who performed President Buhari's daughter's wedding, publicly justified the killing within 24 hours on his own Twitter account. No one was punished. Nnamdi Kanu, British Nigerian broadcaster from London, illegally abducted from Kenya, tried under a defunct law, now serving life in Sokoto prison for words spoken in Great Britain. Meanwhile, the northern imam just recently offered a 1 million naira bounty for the head of a pastor, then doubled it to taunt his critics. No charges, No condemnation from officials. I've been corresponding with the guy. He helped him get to a safe house, but he and his family are in danger and they need help. The Nigerian government goes to great expense to rehabilitate the killers while millions of innocent displaced victims are denied, neglected, and dying. The narrative war. The farmer, herder, and climate change framing started in the Obama State Department. The original reference document was written by a career Sharia propagandist hired by George Soros. At least $10 million confirmed U.S. lobbying contracts are now running. Former Trump administration officials, Nigerian government lobbyists, northern imams, foreign agents, conflicted advisors, and now even Russian state television are among those working to shield this regime from accountability. The real narrative is this. Nigeria is in the throes of an Islamic conquest. Since 2009, they have slaughtered as many as 125,000 Christians and 60,000 Muslims. This is not simply religious freedom issue. This is national and global security. The emergency, as many as 10 to 12 million, mostly youth, are now displaced. 50-60% chance of radicalization by 2030 without intervention. Most are denied by the government, who call them beggars and criminals. Without intervention, this could yield 5 to 6 million more jihadists over the next 5 to 6 years. Intervention is not hard. The international community has the money and the mandate to help if the displaced are simply recognized. In 2015, the UNHCR documented multiple displacement camps in Abuja. Today, they deny those camps exist. I have run schools in those same camps since 2020. They do exist. I affirm the cycle of violence is not inborn or inevitable. A lot of Americans write it off. Oh, that's just what they do. Yes, the children who saw their parents hacked to death often come to our schools wanting to go back and get revenge. But I can tell you, with an education, they gain character, hope, and vision, and they want to go back to rebuild. What must happen? Nigeria has long been strangled by radical Islamists, predatory extraction, globalist meddling, and institutional corruption. Working with the Nigerian government to end the genocide is like working with the Third Reich to end the Holocaust. They smile and spin as they wait for Trump to leave office. Since CPC designation, killing and impunity have only gotten worse. Sanctions will not work. Visa bans will not work. They're ideologues, and they'll just pivot east. Intentional denial of recognition and aid to displaced people, intentional denial of recognition and aid in this circumstance meets the legal standard of genocide. This is provable. Indict the Tinubu administration. Arrest them. They're guilty of genocide. And it's provable. Conduct a valid census and evidentiary briefing of the displaced. They are our witnesses to genocide and they need help. Investigate the Sultan of Sokoto as a terror sponsor. Circumstantial evidence demands it. We know where the militant camps are. Wipe them out. Bring the enablers to justice. Demand the release of Nnamdi Kanu and other prisoners of conscience. Offer asylum protection to them and others threatened by this regime. Ensure a free election in 2027. It could be done for the cost of a Tomahawk missile volley. Tinubu was declared the winner with less than 9 million votes in a nation of 230 million. A free election changes everything. Let the people vote on a new constitution and self-determination. Like so many other British colonial contraptions designed to fail, separation is likely inevitable, and it is just. The time is now. Nigeria is at a crossroads. It will become either a peaceful, prosperous ally or a massive launchpad for global jihad. There is no going back to the status quo. If the world turns away after this unprecedented scrutiny, the backlash will be bloody and absolute. The window is closing. We must call this what it is and intervene now, or the current genocide will grow and draw more innocent blood, not just there, but here in the United States. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh, yes. That is Michael Arnold, the former mayor of US, former mayor of US. Now he's now the congressman, part of the congressmen in US Congress. So he's the one that talked last, and that discussed everything concerning the issue, things that is going on in Nigeria, and the solution to this country called Nigeria. Is about debating and the issue of letting Donald Trump to know what is really happening in Nigeria. In fact, I would like you to watch this so we can call it a day, so that you will see things happening in this country.
If Tinubu dies today and he was shot, if the person is from Hausa or the person is from Igbo, regardless of the person's intention and the goodwill, it will always be perceived that this person has shortened the administration of a Yoruba man. Nobody will see it from the perspective that he actually meant well for Nigeria. Nigeria needs revolution. You see what J.J. Rollins did in Ghana. It's a bit easier to be done in Ghana because, one, the population-wise, Ghanaians are lesser in population. And then, two, Ghanaians are more homogeneous. True. They are more homogeneous than Nigeria that is heterogeneous. That is where my major problem is, that we have a lot of people that know the right things, but they don't want to do it. Everybody, I tell you something, anybody that have ever left Nigeria, as a politician, or as a businessman, or as an entrepreneur, or anything at all you do, and you've been opportune to leave the shores of Nigeria, not to Niger, not to maybe not to not to Benin Republic, not to Benin Republic, to no disrespect, not that I'm disrespecting any of those countries, but to countries that are engineered towards development, Rwanda, Morocco, Algeria, South Africa, UK. If you've been opportune to visit any of these places and you still come back to Nigeria and keep quiet, you are part of the problem. You are part. The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Very few. I know how many persons that come to my DM and say, "Thank you so much. Your video has changed my perspective on issues." Okay. So if we have more people,
now it's even worse that some persons are in these countries, even first world countries like Canada and Australia, and they are supporting some form of practices, like you mentioned earlier, that do not exist where they are. Okay. But because they benefit, whether it's tribal or it's religious, they benefit from it. I see that a lot in our comment section. As an advocate, I put out content. You will expect that a certain level of our society will not attack you. Yeah. But there are these people that are also attacking you to say, quiet your mouth. Yeah. You are not working.
Anybody that leaves Nigeria would think that people in Nigeria are fools.
Exactly.
You put it in the right perspective, they are benefiting. Anybody you see today that is singing praises to Nigerian government or anybody in power, two things are involved. Number one is either the person is directly benefiting, or the person is positioning himself to benefit. Or the third one, ignorance.
Do you think we can get away with this democratically?
The ballot boxes and the electoral system, the constitution as we have it today in Nigeria, people only leverage on exploiting the loopholes other than consolidating on what the system and documents were actually meant to do. Nigeria needs revolution.
Well, as it is now, everybody eye the hordes for Nigeria now. People don't open eye, they shout, they rake, say, go happen again. That the president's influence is now weak and the rest. Well, we are going to hear from what people are saying concerning the situation.
The Boko Haram terrorist has given the government of Nigeria 72 hours to pay ransom of 416 people they adopted in Borno State, mostly women and their children. That's what they are saying here today, being the 20th of April 2026. But you know what? Before I let you watch this video, they are going to pay the money. Yeah, they are going to pay the money. And if they didn't pay it, if they didn't comply, they are going to buy all of them. They are going to unalive all of them. And if the government or not the army manage to capture any one of them, guess what will happen? They will take them to prison, and after a while, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, they will repent and they will take them back. Watch the video if you can listen to it, if you understand their language.
dukkan su da kuka gani a bidiyon nan ba za ku kare ganin su kuma har abada idan kuma za ku iya ku tabbatar ta mansura wato ta kafin bindiga bismillah mun da ana maka dogara tun ba masu yi ba kuma gaba kuma baya ana yi abu yau gobe ma shi ne za a yi saboda addini zahiri yake so ba goye-goye ba ne mu kuma wallahi ba ma goye-goye mu a zahiran sai muke yin komai mu mun ba ku a wani 72 in ba ku yi abu da yawa to mata da yara ƙananan nan za mu rarrabar da su kuma ba ku kara ganin su ba ko da ido insha Allah wani sako dai ya iso zuwa ga Bosnia da kuma gwamnatin Najeriya ba ta mu ba ku zama da sani ba wasa cikin al'amarin ba mu su kwamba idan ba ku da wani mataki akan yarjejeniyar da muka yi da kuka ci alkawari ba za mu rabar da mataki kuma kun daina ganin su kenan har
Watch this. May the peace of Allah and blessings be upon this gathering. Now? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
This is the beginning of the beginning of dismantling a government led by a mafioso. This is a government that is led by a mafia boss. So when a mafia boss is ruling a country, he siphons everything, primitive accumulation. He dismantles every institution. You cease to have a government. Everything begins and ends with him. All institutions are headed by his cronies. For him, and for him, and for him. So today, we are saying that the ADC is the engine that will be used by Nigerians to salvage Nigeria.
Yes.
We have no choice. When they say it's ADC versus APC, I say no. You are trivializing the issue. It's ADC. Nigerians are all in ADC. So it's Nigerians versus the mafioso.
Yes.
The mafioso have no empathy, they have no scruples, they have no mercy. So if you want to live another day, you have to join this ship that will grind and obliterate and with everything that you have. Everything that we have will put it in place to dismantle this misrule in our country, because we don't have a choice. We don't have another country. This is the only country that we have, and we refuse to be enslaved in our own countries. We have refused to be subservient to this misrule. It takes courage to get justice. Anyone that is afraid of fighting for justice should go. We are here, our blood and our flesh is for justice, and we intend to fight for justice. ADC, arise Nigerians and fight for your rights. Yes. It's our right, it's our constitution, we have to defend it. Thank you. The chairman of our great party, ADC, ADNC. I want to give glory to God for a day like this. When everything started, it looked so gloomy. We didn't even know where to turn to. But in every situation, God has changed it and turned it around for our good. Today, I want to stand here and say, I am very grateful. I want to recognize, first of all, Chief Ralph Nwosu. When we were in the party, he had always said, one day we will be at the villa.
Yes.
And when he said that, I looked at a few of us and wondered how we would get to the villa. I didn't know that God was planting something.
Oh yes, that is it. The situation of this country, it is now getting out of hand. The way everything is happening, the way everything is going, nobody is safe anywhere. Nobody. no part of the country you will go that people is smiling. Everywhere people is very, very angry. Angry to the government, angry to the person that is within you, angry to everything because of the governments that is in the country. They are not working their work. They are doing opposite of what they say. So every day, the issue of the people that the bandits, the terrorists kidnapped and be demanding for some kind of huge amount of money. At the end, they will pay them. But what used to pain everybody is whenever they catch those terrorists, after for some days, they will now erase them and call them repentant Boko Haram or call them prodigal sons. They are Nigerian sons and daughters. In fact, it is so painful. A lot is happening, and a lot is still happening. I would like you to comment down what you think about the thing happening in Nigeria. Like, subscribe, and share it for everyone to see things going on in this country. We say thank you for watching.